Whoa, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Any way you want to look at this time of year, no matter what, it's special in so many different ways to so many different people around the globe. But right now, right this moment, it is special because you're there, I am here, and I am getting ready to feature and showcase probably what is going to be one of the best podcasts, shows, exhibitions, informational, whatever way you want to look at it, one of the best shows you've ever seen. And I am talking about, you know what? Don't go racing ahead and try to find the cool items, because every single item is different, unique, something you've never seen before. Jewelry. There is some special jewelry that I am featuring, but you have to hear the backstory to the pieces. Downside to the show is my buddy, my right and left hand and brain lately is not here with me today. Raven. Yep, the Raven. The Raven isn't here to help me, so if you hear some not a smooth flow going with the program or me talking to myself, then that's what that's about. She has been such a busy girl, such a busy girl. She was willing to come in, but then she would have been doing back-to-back shows, because I think a lot of you know, if you're missing out, one of the shows you need to see here, besides all of them, at Gem Shopping, of course, is a longtime friend of hers and mine, and we go way back to when we did the live show, is Sam. The estate jewelry with Sam. He's got amazing things, and so we have offices down on the same floor, and Raven, being with the talent and skills that she has, not only is she my product specialist, but I had to share with many others that wanted her as well. She is one of those people that is behind the scenes and is one of the quieter ones behind the scenes and gets her job done and knows what she's doing. Besides that, she knows the product as well. So anyway, she's doing if you want to catch her tonight, you can watch her on the overnight show from 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. And that just goes to show you that, talent is spread across all the shows here. There is so many interesting items that each different vendor is offering. It is, for me, like a miniature wing of the Smithsonian every day that I am here. So great stuff. All right, now, our part of it is, though, the earth science end of it, where it all starts, the ground up. Now, that said, there is nothing, no restrictions were ever put on me offering anything I wanted to feature. Fossils, jewelry, necklaces, pendants, earrings, specimens. That's what's so cool about this show. Now, if your show end up putting a big geode in the middle of one of the other shows, it might look a little unusual. This show, if I put a ring in the middle of the show, not unusual, just something else to educate you on, because the whole thing about what I want to do is exactly that. Not only be the professor, but the professor only gets that title if he is an educator as well. And I love to share my knowledge. And now at my age of 60, with 50 years, every level of being involved in this, from prospecting ground up, you know what, if I did write a book just about things that actually have happened, stories, I think rockhounds would probably find it really interesting. When I think about just the things I'd like to share as far as a storyteller, like the emerald I found in the creek when I was like 13 years old on my uncle's property. Well, you know what? I was reading about other emeralds, and it had to do with the Crabtree mine and other discoveries, and they were pretty much, some of them were literally oddball emeralds that were found alluvially in a creek. that their mother lode, where they eroded out of, was never found. And there is a story from my uncle's property right in Macon County, where Franklin and Cowrie Valley is, in that county. And he had 200 acres. And one summer, I brought back a lot of material back to where I lived in Sarasota, so I could pan it and go through it. It was just straight from his creeks. And I know it was not my imagination. A little barrel-shaped emerald crystal I found. Had it been no bigger than 10 points. It had washed down in this little creek. And ever since then, I have wondered about that. And you know what the funny thing is? It ties into a story that my uncle, who was always kind of a storyteller anyway, but he had already told me the story about how once or twice a year, a old timer came out of the hills with a mule pack, a pack animal, and would trade what he had for other items. And one of the things he traded for were green stones. He brought down out of the Nantahala Mountains green stones, and he's in that area was in the pegmatite belt where that would be possible. So you tie in as a 13, 14-year-old boy finding that little crystal, and you tie in the legend, the lore of an old timer coming out of the mountains with green stones, and he came out of the mountains right above my uncle's property, and that's where this creek also flowed, in the watershed, worked its way from. So, my imagination still wonders about that one, and still thinks that I'm going to follow that creek up one day. I mean, that's how they find the Canadian diamonds. So that's how a lot of things are found. You find them and you follow them back to where they came from. So anyway, lots of neat stories to tell you. Okay, I have a lot to do, so I got to quit telling my yarns, and let's get to the comments. Okay, now for those of you that are catching this show kind of new and fresh, welcome all of you from the world of YouTube. And just know that you can reach or send comments to me, Shawn at gemshopping.com. Very, a lot easier, just directly to me. And I noticed Anthony had sent some pictures, and so Susan has retired, bless her heart. She's been so wonderful for so many years. So I know you alluded to asking Susan if you could send the pics. Well, that would be now. Just use Shawn at gemshopping.com. We'll be able to get you the answer directly from me on that. So thanks for the pics, by the way. I did get those. That said, also, for those of you that want to see the whole picture of gem shopping, which is a must, go to gemshopping.com. And from there, on the home page, you can go down to the Learning Center, click on that. You'll be able to access not only this show, but also the 30 episodes of the How It's Done series, which covers everything imaginable by way of goldsmithing and any kind of metalsmithing and goldsmithing that you would wonder about. We have covered, thanks to incredible directorship by Asif, as to the episodes and to how to properly convey the information as I hosted and actually did the work to you. It has really, they have turned into a phenomenal set of tools for you to learn from. So I highly recommend you, they're like 20 to 30 minute segments, there's like 30 of them, and apparently hundreds of thousands of people have found them very useful by the number of hits. I think I mentioned last week, including I think one of the best ones yet was someone commenting in Wales, United Kingdom, that thanks to one of the topics was how to get a ring off your finger without destroying it. He used, apparently researched and internet searched it, and that episode came up of how to loosen a ring. And he used it to get this, you know how pans, especially iron skillets, have that little hole at the end that you hang the skillet on. Well, his little, apparently it sounded like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, had gotten her finger stuck in one of those holes. And he said, my methods were completely useful and completely alleviated his fear of having to go to a hospital or something worse. So that was kind of neat to see that. Kind of out of the box of what it was meant for, but useful nonetheless. So anyway, make sure you cover those 30 different episodes. You'll be very glad that you did. All right, much more I could say. Let's get going. Yes, you can still receive things. You may have to do express shipping or whatnot, but you can still receive things, but order them straight away. Talk to your sales rep about the best method. May not be fully guaranteed to get there, but anyway, they'll know what to do or the best method to be able to get the items to you if you have something at Christmas. You're going to see items today that whether you get them by Christmas or after Christmas, it doesn't matter. You're going to want them. All right, let's get started on the comments. First, trivia. We do two trivia questions, usually two, at the end of every show based on something that I've covered in the show, referenced, said, or maybe it was a show from before. You never know. But we always give away cool prizes in the following show if you get the answers right. Now, this week it was a quiet week, so the comments are going to go quick. Holiday time, but that also increases the chance of winning if you got the answers right. All right, so the questions were this from the other week, last week. All right. Okay, if hemimorphite is the zinc silicate, what is the mineral name of the zinc carbonate? So many metals have a silicate and a carbonate to each of the metallic elements. And we know the carbonates, like calcium carbonate is calcite, manganese carbonate is rhodochrosite, iron carbonate is siderite. You know, you can just go down the list. Well, there's a zinc carbonate. What is the name of the zinc carbonate? Answer being smithsonite. And yes, it was named after James Smithson of the namesake Smithsonian Institution. Now, next question was, what causes the tangerine color on Namibian quartz, or any other quartz for that matter, in most cases? The answer being iron oxide or hematite or iron or any of those I would take, or if you just put rust, that would have been acceptable as well. So it's just a surface coating, and some people make the horrific mistake of taking the tangerine quartz and thinking, oh, I'm just going to scrub this up, or I'm going to just put this in this solution to just brighten it up a little bit, and all of a sudden they take it out and psh, all the iron oxide is gone. Yes, that happens. Actually, I'm intentionally trying to do some, for those of you that bought any of those specimens from the Jones mine, I've been doing more research on the Jones mine. I'm not sure if it might have been Elisa, I'm not sure, Peggy maybe. Someone bought one of those Jones mine feldspars, and wow, lucky you, because those are real treasures. I'm still finding additional mineralization in those. And so anyway, I was trying to remove some of the xanthite, but anyway, that's another story. I'll tell you if I have any good luck. All right, let's get to the comments. Now, first, when the shows post up, there's another area that people can just comment, and I'm just learning this, so if I sound like, ignorant, well, that's because I am. You know, there's the area where you can leave comments for me, then also you can leave comments directly on the YouTube page, apparently. So, Miss Sarah, who does some of the work that Susan used to do, anyway, she also sends me, if people have a question regarding the episodes, then she'll send me the question and I'll answer it, and she'll post the answer back up, questions relating to the how-to episodes. And so anyway, she sent me some comments, and she said that I may want to read them on the air. I don't know who they're from, but it's always nice to hear other people's opinion as well. So first, someone had a question, ask about a sizing a ring. And so the question was, can you size a platinum ring up 2.5 to 3 sizes? Here's the thing. Now, this is just a generic and general question, but it's an excellent, excellent question, because I have had 2 retail jewelry stores. I have worked, did the remount program in 60 out of 90, 60 Zale stores every 90 days in the Southeast. I am really familiar with what people's questions are and what the answers they get back from the clerks or the, quote, jewelers working behind the counter, and even policies of jewelry stores, or the confidence of the jewelers or goldsmiths working in them. Now, I know this question they're asking that because you're going to find that a lot of, well, I can't call them goldsmiths or platinum smiths if they can't size a ring properly. So most bench jewelers, a lot of them, will not take on a job if it has to go up more than X number of sizes in general. And in platinum especially, a lot of jewelers cannot even work properly in platinum. That's why you see platinum rings with the line at the backside, or discoloration, where instead of putting in a piece of platinum to size a ring up 2 or 3 sizes, they put in gold and used gold solder to solder it back together, because they didn't have the confidence to use a platinum weld or a high alloy, platinum alloy, so that when you weld the 2 pieces of metal together and clean it up, there is no visible joint. When you use gold, which so many of them do, you can rhodium it and you can get it out the door, and the client won't know it. They won't know it for a week or 2, and all it takes is a little bit of scratching and a little bit of time, and that oxidation from the gold is going to stand out against the platinum, because the difference on the whiteness scale is hugely remarkable. And to fix it, you have to cut out the entire section and do it right, and it's much more expensive to do it right. Now, they charge you for the platinum sizing, which you would expect, because of the amount they probably charge, that you would get it done correctly. No, they still charge you the high amount and do it incorrectly, and this is done more often than not. So what I find is many of them, to avoid, and a lot of platinum rings usually are more valuable pieces of jewelry, remember. And so to avoid liability, headaches, hassle, and problems, they just say, oh, we can't size it up 2.5 or 3 sizes, or whatever the case may be. Whereas, truth of the matter is, because of platinum's malleability, or the ability for it to bend without breaking, it is actually easier sometimes to size a platinum ring up 2.5 or 3 sizes, more so than a gold ring, because the ring and the malleability of the platinum allows it to expand without breaking up even filigree joints and other places in it. So can it be done? In some instances, if the diamonds come way down the shank and whatnot, no, it cannot. But in most cases, yes, it can, by a competent platinum smith. And I don't mean just a jeweler. I mean someone that is used to working with platinum. And going up that many sizes, you want to make sure that there is a piece of platinum metal put in the ring and soldered with platinum, and you state that, and you make sure they write it on the work order that you want the job done using platinum materials only. And that way you have a recourse when you find out they did it incorrectly later. So yes, most of the times 2.5 or 3 sizes sizing a platinum ring is doable, unless it's a situation with a ring or a precious stone that the heat elements get involved. All right, other comments from not our particular little family, but from the front page of the YouTube videos, I guess, something like that. Very nice. Your show is so professional. You are clear and concise. It's been a pleasure watching. Another comment is, great show, Shawn. I always enjoy learning about rocks and gems from you. You have such a deep knowledge, and I can see your passion for rocks. Great show, Shawn. I really appreciate that you take the time to describe each specimen. I feel like I understand minerals just a little more with each show. Have a great day. Another comment. Thank you so much for sharing your education with us. Wow, 4 for 4. That's very kind of all of you, and I can only say thank you for appreciating the effort and time that I put into producing this show. I mean, yeah, I may have this knowledge, but I don't have all the knowledge. And so if there's things I don't know, or a particular specimen, I just don't tell you, oh, it's a quartz and mica. No, I look into it and I tell you, oh, it's quartz, mica, shoal, garnet, you know, all the other little goodies in there that I can figure out what they are. And that can sometimes take hours, but it's a lot of fun. But I enjoy every moment of it. All right, so here we go. All right, Miss Barbara says, hi, Professor, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. So glad you got to hug your son and that he will be reassigned closer to home. That is your Christmas gift. It absolutely is. We talked a couple times this week, and it was great. He's in D.C., he's got his house, and it was just like, remember, before in Japan, it was you switch AM to PM and add an hour. So if it was, let's say I wanted to call him and it was 12 o'clock noon here, it would be midnight there plus an hour. So it would be 1 in the morning. And so our times were totally reversed. I couldn't, it was difficult to work around. And here it just made it so much easier. So it was already a thrill. And it truly is my Christmas gift to have him back home. Congrats to Karen on the Cobalite, a truly choice specimen at a fantastic price. Well done, you. Yeah, that was lucky. Didn't remember the 2 colors of prehnite specimen from long ago, so I jumped on the phone even before you said the price and got it. Yippee! Bingo! That Molly prehnite with the epidote, I couldn't believe that, it was meant for you, Barbara. That's why when, I showed it, no one else took it. It was like I almost didn't show it. But I think I did. Anyway, with the 2 colors of prehnite in the 1 specimen, you did really well. As to the trivia, smithsonite is the zinc carbonate. Now check this out. That hemimorphite specimen from Mapimi looked suspiciously like anatomite on limonite, especially after you said green fluorescence. And the usual suspect, hematite, was the orange on the quartz cluster. Okay, so she answered the 2 trivia questions correctly. Miss Barbara, yes. And Miss Barbara, if you remember the other week, I had featured a specimen that hadn't sold before. I was surprised. And it looked like it was a kind of yellowish greenish tinted hemimorphite. Well, Miss Barbara, you are exactly correct. She has called me out on it, thinking and saying that it looked like an adamite. And you know what? Up here knew it was an adamite, but it didn't translate to typing it in and putting it in the system. Because I know better. Yes, even without seeing the specimen again, because I don't know if it's sold or not, and if it hasn't sold, I am getting it back and keeping it. And that's probably why I had it again anyway, because I decided I probably didn't want to sell it, because it is fluorescent. Adamite, if you love fluorescence, someone needs to get that specimen. I'm not going to give you the item number. No, I have the item number. But I want it. If it comes back and doesn't sell, I want to relabel it correctly. Adamite is a zinc arsenate, and so hemimorphite, of course, we know is a zinc silicate. So they're different, and adamite has a beautiful, strong green fluorescence and forms differently. And so, yes, Miss Barbara is correct on that. That specimen is an adamite and not a hemimorphite, especially since I knew it was from the Huela mine in Mapimi, which is well known to have adamites on limonite from that location. So to reuse a youngster saying that's reused too many times, well, I got it wrong, and Barbara got it right on that one, and my bad. There you go, my bad. But I'm glad you corrected me on that. So as we run up to the holidays, please remember the folks from Kentucky and the 3 other states that experienced the devastating quad state tornado outbreak, not only in your prayers, but with a helping donation. Their Christmas will be anything but merry. Absolutely indeed. That was horrific, just horrific. Stay safe, wear your mask, and Shawn, make an early New Year's resolution to see your doctor in 2022. I plan on it. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. Miss Sue in Texas says, and gets the answers right on the trivia, and then she says, no, Shawn, your show was very interesting and informative as usual, Shawn. I'm so happy that you'll be able to see your son more often now that he's back home. School is out this week for my grandsons, and they'll be spending most days during holidays with us. My husband and I just got Moderna booster shots, so hopefully that will keep us well. Wishing our rock group and their families a blessed Christmas. Same back at you, Miss Sue. Miss Cindy says, hello, rock family. Great show, Shawn. As always, thank you so much for allowing me to be the winner of the coveted trivia prize of the Morocco chrysocolla and malachite specimen. Well, I didn't allow you to be it. Fate stepped in. and chose. Getting the 2 answers right for this week. Well done. I look forward to your next week's show, which is the last one before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you, Raven, GSN staff, and all of the Rock family. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, who had some exciting news. What? Cindy in South Central, who had some exciting news to share soon. Cindy, see, I read every word, and that stands out. That you're going to share some exciting news soon. Now that's a tease. That's worse than what I do. Keep us up to date. I want to know what you are talking about, Miss Cindy. And before that, I had another thought, but you know, out the window it went. Your news sounds exciting. Keep us informed. All right. We have Miss Elisa in Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, Rock family, and GSN crew. Professor, thank you for an amazing show this week. You had a lot of great items. My answers are smithsonite and hematite, 8 iron oxide coating. I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Elisa. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts says, hello, all. The bluish opal I mentioned last week, I have an opaque Peruvian blue opal. It's more lavender blue. This one has precious opal play of color and is transparent. What looks like pyrite can be seen through the silica. Got one of the chunky gal specimens. Honestly, I have a couple of nice pieces already and was laying off them, but you made it to a have to buy it price, so that's that. Thank you. Smithsonite and hematite. Eyes down. Yeah, you know what? Those chunky gal specimens are so rare and so hard to get a hold of. And you know what? I did a search on ruby for the United States. There is none. It's North Carolina. That's pretty much it. You can find some corundum some other places and spotty little sapphire here and there. But for real ruby and ruby in a beautiful smaragdite like that, no, there's just not. So North Carolina's the place. And if you get in on those very inexpensive specimens, you know what? Go to Ruby City in Franklin at the, it's a jewelry store, but it's more, Dave's been up there. I told him to go in, and it's an amazing little museum, and they have a lot of the local gems and minerals, and you'll see that my chunky gal specimens are as fine as anything they have. Yeah, I was lucky to be in the right place right day. Okay, so that's it. There wasn't many people to get their here, I'm just going to show you. Poor Austin. Look at this. This was just one page. Look at this. I'm going to flash it real quick. Look at all that. Look at all that. And there's another page. Those are items you're going to get to see. We'll see how many we get to. All right, so the winner this week, drawing the hat, and the winner is... it seems like everybody just wins all the time. So, okay, so this week, Miss Elisa. Miss Elisa in Florida now. Congratulations. Let me show you what you won. Let me show you what you won. It's kind of odd because I remember you, I think, saying that you liked opal or had wanted an opal parcel. And Dave, make this incredible seal look like he has all the fire that he does have. And this guy, look at that. We have all the bright lights on now. That's why you can't see all the cool colors in him. So he is one of the most unusual carvings because he's a seal. At least best I can tell that he's a seal, and that there's flippers on him, and he is what I call carving kind of quality. He's got a little bit of crazing in him, but a lot of the carvings do. To have just anything that large, look at that, and what you see, that's all actually some green. You see the green colors and the fire in this. And then the blues and the purples. And it's just something, and when they carve animals, look at that. Seals is not one you usually think of. Oh, look at that green color right down the back there. All right, free. Can't beat that, can you? Okay, let me tuck him away, and I'll be right back with the show. Wow. Now, look at this. Just in time for Christmas. The color red for ruby. Yes. Look at that. Look at how symmetrical that is. That is one of the most amazing, look at this, doubly terminated, so it's called a floater crystal. Now, a floater crystal is a crystal where there is no apparent attachment to like let's say the wall of a pocket or to another cluster, and they call them floaters. In other words, they are able to form in the pocket freely without being attached to anything else. Now, these are from Mysore, India, and the Mysore Indian rubies are so well known. They're easy to spot for a couple of different things. They have trigons. They often have trigons. See these triangular shaped formations on the surface? Now, while we're zoomed in also, I want to show you something else. Look at in these depressions. There is another mineral growing in them. And I was doing some investigative work, of course, and trying to figure out exactly what they could be. Now, as we look at this, let me see if I can show you. You're going to see two things. There we go. For one thing, you're going to get to see the actual color of, wow, look at that piece of corundum crystal. And then you're going to get to see also the color of these crystals that are in the depression. And they are a reddish color, a deep reddish burgundy type of color. Thank you, sir. Now, as we show you the rest of the crystal, let me show you. This is amazing because look at the surface. The surface, this crystal looked like it grew out to its maximum size for the area that it was forming in. You have these unusual other little depressions that could have been its exterior wall that it was growing into. Look at that. See that shape of that crystal right there? It looks six-sided. I was either trying to figure out for them to be, you know, in corundum, there's over 50 different inclusions that have been found. And I was looking to see if these could be rutile. They have a reddish tint to them, garnet or spinel. They have a good hardness to them as well. They're not hematite or anything like that. Here's now the other side. And again, look at the big triangles, those big trigons like that. This piece, if it was sliced up, and you could take some slices off of it without, of course, it's not going to fall apart. It's corundum, very dense and durable, and have some really beautiful thin slices, and that's what I was thinking about doing with it. The color is actually very attractive, and it is heavy. 1,290 carats. Now remember, there's 5 carats to a gram. So if you want to figure out the gram weight, you're roughly looking at 420 grams. In other words, almost a pound. 250 grams. So you're looking at over half a pound of, well, in Asia, this actually goes as ruby. No matter what, it's sapphire, whether it's a pink sapphire, pinkish purple sapphire, or however way you want to call it. But in the 90s, when I had gotten others of these and I was able to buy spheres made from them, they were carving this beautiful crystals up into all these other shapes and wasting a lot of material. Well, guess what? Fast forward a few decades, couple decades, there is very little of this material being mined anymore out of Mysore. And the prices and the pricing of not only the carvings but the crystals has gone way up from when they first came out. There was a lot of them, and there is not so many of them now. This has so many fun things to study, and just the surface alone, in looking at the other crystals in here. There we go, right there. Look at these. This is on the sides now, and it is, when I did my research, no one, they always talked about the crystal, no one, including the high-end researchers, mentioned what the inclusions on the surface. And the other crystals had these inclusions, and no one brought them, no one said, oh, with such and such. So you can see the triangle shape. So I don't know, that triangle shape could be spinel, All right, no matter what, this is a real beautiful, beautiful collector specimen, and I'm offering it at a fraction, of course, what the market really deems the value of these now, and it has gone way up. Price only $188, $188. And of course, if you figure a price per carat, it comes out really inexpensively. But for an impressive specimen, look at this in my hand. Now that's a ruby, you know, really, that's a ruby. And that is a decent color and quality. When you look at the other options out there, when they find these, so many of them are a color that is much more washed out. So, opportunity knocking, it is the most impressive one that I have. You never know what I'm going to come up with next, because when I show you these next two items, you're going to flip. You're going to say, Shawn, when is your collection going to end? It's not. It's not. Shawn has collected these items and Raven for 50 years, and Shawn, speaking of being, what, third person, whatever, you know, probably for every one that I get rid of now, I still probably am collecting on the other end, and yeah. Anyway, that's the fun of it. Wait till you see what I have next. Item, let's see which one. Okay. Who is familiar with the word chirality? Chirality. And then sinistral chirality. Boy, that doesn't sound good, does it? Item number 1042221. Sinistral chirality is something that you want when you have something like this. Look at this. Now, not real impressed, are you? Well, let's see if we can't do something about that. Let's flip this guy over. Now look at it. Yeah. Look at that. This is 100 million year old or so, give or take, seashell fossil, and it is actually truly been fossilized. Obviously, because you have that beautiful druzy quartz growth on the interior of it, and then it's been flattened on the back. Now you can see some of the natural, what they call, you remember we learned about the type of conglomerate, shell conglomerate called coquina, plus remember there's a coquina shell itself. But this is a little conglomerate of the shoreline, along with sand and additional shells here, and it's been flattened just intentionally. Look at that little pocket though right there. Now, chirality has to do with which way the gastropod grows. Now, it's determined by holding it in your hand and with the point up, and if the aperture, now this is just, remember, a break in the shell where you can see the crystal. So that's not the aperture. The opening is what they're referring to. The opening of the shell would be right here. So if the opening is on the left-hand side, it is called sinistral. In other words, the chirality is called sinistral. In other words, it's a left-handed shell. And why is that important? Because by a huge margin, most shells have a dextral chirality. So you didn't even know I knew. I'm full of useless information. Dextral chirality is where the aperture or opening would be on the other side. And most mollusks and gastropods have dextral chirality. I mean, by a huge margin and percentage versus left-handed. So this is left-handed sinistral chirality, adding to the rarity of it. Incredible fossil piece, and it's neat because it's one of those, it's like not impressive from one way, but from the other, very impressive. And I'm offering it in the box. This has been from my collection. And I tell you what, this is one of those, the only reason I can get away selling it is because Raven is not here. She is not watching, hopefully, when this comes up. But it'll be too late. Someone take advantage of this. Price on it, guess what? $68. You would think $168, wouldn't you? Yep, you would. And for that kind of quality and size, that would be fair enough. But, okay, so you called up. That one's already gone, right? I'm sure it will be. Let's look at item 1042121. 1042121. And then you can make your decision on which one you want, because I have another one. Let's take a look. There's the one. You can see the two next to each other. A little bit difference in size. They're going to be the same price, $68. Let me show you this one, though. This also has sinistral chirality. It is a left-handed shell. There's something a little bit more special about it, though. Oh, let's take a look. Yeah, only $68 also. Look at this. Bam. Lavender quartz, or amethyst as some may call it. Look at that. Point up. Aperture is on the left. It is sinistral chirality, adding to the rarity and value for only $68. Try to find another one. That lavender color. It's not going to happen. You're not going to find it. And if I would have put, and that's the difference, I could have put 168. It would have been. You still couldn't have found another one for that. But, well, you guys know me better than that. This probably crystallizes back into the shell. And as we come in close on this, you can see you're just not sure how far back that opening goes, but beautiful crystals, and wow, that lavender color quartz. That is special. These are the only two I have. And I made them the same price because they're both left-handed. One's larger than the other, and it has that opening. And I don't know, they just look like they equated for the same value. $68 each, only two I have, so you don't have to wait for another one. Get the one you want right now. Again, with both having the sinistral chirality, words you learned today for the first time, I have no doubt. Then you can't go wrong because they're very equal in items. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a few more breaks because I gotta put this stuff up because I don't have a raven. I'll be right back. I have something that, well, there's a story to this and you're going to want to hear it. This is not your ordinary Tennessee freshwater pearl diamond pendant. This is something really actually a much more rare. Now, for those of you that didn't know, I actually graduated high school in 1979 from a little tiny town north of Chattanooga called Cleveland, Tennessee. I only had gone to the high school for 1 year. And Cleveland, Tennessee actually is a little town that is just east of the Tennessee River and the Tennessee River system. Been on the Tennessee River many times myself. The Tennessee River historically has so much history to it. And one of the biggest, most important things the Tennessee River system has is a mollusk. Actually, two different kinds. A black lisp with a P on the end, black lisp, not like the black lip. Oysters that we know will produce black pearls, Tahitian cultured black pearls, saltwater. These are freshwater, the black lisp pearl and the washboard mussel. So we have the black lisp mussel that produces freshwater pearls and the washboard mussel. Now there is hundreds of additional other mussel varieties, but these are the two main ones. Now, in the Tennessee River system, they discovered that the mother of pearl of these particular mollusks were the most desirable in the world to use as irritant implants for the culturing of, and I mean 90% plus, of all the other world's pearls. So, if you have a Mikimoto strand of cultured pearls, chances are that the original implant on the inside of the nucleus of that pearl is going to be from a mussel from the Tennessee River. Mikimoto, who of course, his first cultured pearl, saltwater pearl, was in 1893. And he achieved that by taking all the mollusks into a closed environment, because his first batch, the red tide, came, and those of you familiar with oceans, and I grew up in Sarasota, are familiar with the red tide. It's a type of algal bloom in the ocean that will literally kill off all kinds of marine fish and animals. And he had his crop wiped out. So he kept prevailing, and of course succeeded to no end. Now, that's saltwater pearl culturing. The Tennessee freshwater pearls, okay, the story on those was it wasn't until 1986 that, again, this other generational family tried and finally developed the ability to culture mussels in the actual river itself. It was not polluted and had all the right ingredients. And in 1986, the first crop of actual cultured Tennessee freshwater pearls was first introduced. Now, a Tennessee freshwater pearl takes 18 months to 3 years for the layers of nacre to develop, depending on the quality that you want. The black lisp pearl will put on anywhere from 1 to 7 layers of nacre. That is basically the calcium carbonate material that it will put over the irritant in it. And 1 to 7 layers a day. The washboard mussel only adds 0.2 millimeters of nacre in 0.2 millimeters in a week's time or more. And so each one forms at a different speed and then quality, depending on how long you leave them in the water. Now, the other thing, the Tennessee Freshwater Pearl Growers Association, which is not many people that do it, limit the number of implants in the mussel to only about 10. 10 implants. So what they'll do, they'll take a little piece of the mother of pearl from the mussel and insert it underneath the membrane of the mussel, and that creates the irritant. Then they start putting the nacre over it. In Japan, believe it or not, yes, Japan will you put in 40 to 50 of implants in one, and hoping to get as many possible jewelry quality ones as they can. Here's what happens. You end up getting 6-month pearls. In other words, they don't keep them in there, or else the mussel will die, and you get this very thin, shiny layer for a few months, but it will quickly dull or chip and flake off from the original implant. And I've seen that. I've seen that with the large, round freshwater cultured pearls. Now, all that leads me to this. I made this piece. And I made it with diamonds I had. And if you look, this one is actually a European cut. And you have 3 round brilliants. A total weight of 30 points. And look at the shape of that pearl. This is a piece I gave my son's mother. And I made this, and of course, there's the diamond weight and the year. I use my initials front and back and the year I made it in between. 1989. Only 3 years after the very first production of cultured pearls was created was I able to get this piece. And the prices of these pearls at the time was exorbitant, absolutely exorbitant. It was such a rarity, and of course, I had to have one. Of course, having lived in Tennessee and been familiar with the Tennessee River system. So now this piece is a pin pendant combination. So it has, of course, a very secure, especially if I did, a very secure pin that has a good strong catch. And then also look at this bail that pops up and then rotates as well. So it goes all the way up, and this is where your pin pendant. Look at that. Isn't that cool? You can run your chain right through there. Run your chain right through there. Look at the beautiful nacre and the luster on this. These pearls, and I'm not sure what the price of them are now, but at the time, the pearls alone, one like this, I think I remember paying $150 or $200 wholesale for just the pearl. You figure in right now 30 points of diamonds, they're going to cost me what, $5, 500 a carat. So you have 150 in the diamonds. You're talking about cost 150 in the pearl. That's $300. The weight of the gold in this is extensive. It's very heavy, and then all these other components and the work to go with it. I am asking a price that I could not be able to duplicate this for. If anybody wants something really special, let me tell you how I wound back up with this. And I'm just going to tell all of you the truth. My son's mom, who I'm just going to say she made a far, far, far better ex-wife than she ever did a wife. And I've said that to her face, so she can watch the show and hear me say it. Love her to death. Been a great, great mother to my son, and that's all that mattered in the end. And, we had 5 years before we had our son. So, of course, she got some really nice, fine pieces of jewelry. Well, fast forward all these years, she retired from teaching special education up in White County. She's an amazing person that gives back to the community still. She teaches special education to severely handicapped children, the ones no one else wants to teach. She does it, and she does it after even retiring. So, she was great. But she was a different person back then. But now her heart's changed. So my son actually, since he was in town, he had a talk with her. He told her exactly what a difficult year I've had, health-wise, financial-wise, and whatnot. Next thing I know, my son comes down and he has a pile of jewelry. And she just gave it to me. She said, "This was yours to start with." She goes, "I am not wearing them as I would have when we were together." And she goes, "I feel like that they need to go back to you with no strings attached." I was willing to split any money with her. No, she didn't want anything. So you're getting an opportunity to get back custom piece of jewelry that I would have never thought I would ever see the light of day again. And this is something I made a long time ago, and the pearl is from an early batch, and I just cannot tell you enough how the quality of this is unlike any of the more recent qualities of production, because pearls like this aren't grown in Tennessee. You're going to get pearls over from Asia. Price on this, and it's in the description as made by me. It is signed. You see the year I made it, and I'm asking basically no more than the cost, not counting anything for the labor. Price of only $488. $488, and it is an exquisite piece. Large number of diamonds, conservative diamond weight. There's probably more like 40 points. Pin pendant combination, and a pearl that I know the whole history to, because I lived there. And during the initial really discovery, and this would have been only the third year's crop when they really got things going and perfected the culturing of them. And you can really see that by the quality of that pearl. $488, that is a piece that in Tennessee, $1,200, $1,500, no telling how much they would ask for it, but I only want back really what I have in it. It was a gift, of course, given back to me, and something I would never see. So I want to pass that love and pass that generosity forward, because to me it feels like it's not anything that I should, again, make additional money from. It was given as a gift. I want to give it back to all of you. If you can appreciate something like that, then I want to give it back as a gift. If that doesn't happen, then what may happen is maybe I'll sell all the parts separately. I don't know. But the best value is as it stands now. Okay, let's look at 1040921. I'm taking you back on a trip that not many people get to see, and that is back to some of the early stage of my goldsmithing life. So you can imagine the years. This next one goes back to 1986. Take a look at this. Oh yeah, another one made by Shawn, and wow. Of course, you think if you would find sapphires of that quality if it was just a regular mainstream created piece? Not a chance. Those are really high quality goods, as you can see. And using the legs to wrap around as the shank. These are sizable. I can size this. It is also signed, as you can see. We'll turn it this way. S85, S85S, and is that, because I had to hand inscribe these, sometimes it was difficult to do. So yeah, I think I have, is that 80, 85? Yep, if we could put 85 in there. Sorry about that. S85, 1985. I got this would have been shortly after I married her, because I remember the idea of it was to kiss the frog, and I turned into her prince. And so that's why it is what I called my frog to prince ring. And what a cool piece, huh? Using the legs to go around, and of course the quality of the sapphires. That really is what sets it apart from something that you would ever find in commercial jewelry. You don't find the use of that quality sapphire. And there's more than 4 or 5 points. I just did it conservatively. Again, just costing this out because, you know, a price of $995 would be reasonable. Price of $388 tells you that it is getting something, getting a quarter for a dime or something along those lines. What an amazing deal. And again, like I said, if you need it sized, sizing will even be included. $388. What a neat piece. Now, This is what was the most amazing thing, the item I'm going to show you next. And it was the item that I thought I would never get back. And how many men do. I was married for 9 years. And, of course, I had a wonderful son. But what she could never do, and her second husband could never give her, of course, was anything related to jewelry. Because, of course, he wasn't in the jewelry business. And I was. Nor could he compete with 1040821, 1040821. She gave me back after 29 years the wedding set I gave her. Look at this. This is my very first wedding set. My son's mom. I don't even want to use the word ex-wife. It just sounds too cold. We don't have that kind of relationship. She's been wonderful and a great help. She said this was mine. She said it was mine. She kept it in an ice cube tray, hidden for so many years. She hid it. She was always afraid she was going to lose it. And the carat 44 is the size of the center diamond. Oh, finger size? Here's the thing. 4.5. 4.5 is the finger size. Now, they can be sized. I did not re-engrave these with the date that I made them because if I figured anybody that got them would need them sized. They were also all soldered together. So I separated them, and I am selling them as a set. If they don't sell as a set, then I may separate and sell the band separately. But that would be a shame because they are a perfect match. And of course, being the goldsmith at the time and as my wedding set, I was going to get it exactly perfect. So all these diamonds line up and end at the exact place. That diamond is a really... It's one of those stones that gives you a lot of look for the money. So I save you by not, look at that. It looks very white. It looks very white. Technically, if it was loose, it would have probably a little color, probably JK in color. And it has probably an SI2, I1 inclusion technically. But you can't see anything with your eye. Even there's a little tiny spot right there, but we're under magnification now, and it's probably nothing you can see with your eye. The other diamonds that are channel set are nice stones, bright stones. You can see them. And there's a carat 65 in the smaller diamonds, a carat 44 in the big diamonds. So you have a total weight of over 3 carats, 3 carats and 9 points roughly. And she went to only a band because he could never give her anything like this. So she wore a band all her life after that. And to give me this back, I thought was something very honorable. And that is not something that happens. If you want an amazing set, and because of the way this was gifted back to me, and because I'm just going to bare my soul to you, it is something financially that I need to sell, and it would make a great Christmas gift for one of you to get, or to get for someone else, and also a wonderful Christmas gift that would end up her giving me back, and it's something that I would need. That said, there is no incentive for me to make money on this. I think it wouldn't even be proper, and therefore I am going to sell it without any labor cost as to what it would make. They're heavy. These are thick, heavy gold bands. They're solid. Look at this, except where the diamonds are azured out, these are solid shanks. Now I could probably size these up 2 or 3 sizes if you needed. And you could keep them separate, or I can solder them together. I will include the sizing of the 3 rings as well, which would be quite expensive to have done. Look at that look, though. I mean, that is a stunning look. Let me show it on this hand, just to give you an idea relative to that ring that you're familiar with. And look at that. Look at the look that you would have. Now, if you just want of course, keep the bands and do something else with them, but if you just want the look of the engagement ring, look at the size of that by itself. Look at the sparkle. Yeah, that is a stunning, large diamond. And I bought it right at the time, and I'm going to pass all of that on to you. And if someone wants a really I'll actually re-engrave it with the year that I had made it, which was, I believe, 1984 is when I gave it to it. And you'd end up with something knowing the whole provenance and history to this piece, which you normally do not get. I am offering the set of all 3 for less than what just the middle stone would cost, easily. Wow. So how about this? Let me just work this in my mind again. Yeah, wow, okay. If we have, yeah, so let's, these bands, if you figured, a diamond band like that would easily be like $1,200. Okay, so let's see. I'm just doing this so it is the ridiculous opportunity that it's going to be. Yeah, so if you figured something like this at, I don't know, $600, which is ridiculous. The other band, $600, so you have $1,200 there. And then this ring with a carat 41 diamond, I can't, I'm thinking what it would cost now to create and make, and wow. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this entire ring and those other 2 bands a total amount of, wow, only, and it can never be less than this. It can never be. I could scrap it, all these pieces down, melt the gold, and sell off the center diamond and come out way ahead. That's why at a ultra discounted price of only $4,188. $4,188. So, let's back off. Basically, if you take $1,200 off the ridiculous price of these at $600 each, you're looking at, $3,000 for that ring. $3,000 for the ring. Not that it's selling as a set. So we're looking at $4,188 for the 3. But if you want to break it down so you can see just how ridiculously inexpensive this is, that band with over half a carat of diamonds, if you figured 600, that band, 600, that's $1,200. If you figured another 600 for this band, that's $1,800. And what you have left is what you have then in the center stone, which is roughly a little less than $2,400 for a carat 44. I don't know if you've priced diamonds lately, but that is a price in that size range that is unattainable. obtainable. And remember, you still get all the returns. You can take it anywhere you want. You still can return it just like anything else here at Gem Shopping. My return rate is half of 1%, whatever that is. Basically, it's non-existent. Look at that ring for $41.88. Wow. And actually, at that price, kind of that price, if you weren't interested in the outside bands the way I figured them, you'd be crazy not to take them at $600 each, but I might consider it if you're interested only in the center. Okay, I've got to get my fingers clean, get this cleaned up and put away. Think about it. I'll be right back. So, showing you on the white pad, white piece of paper here so that we don't get anything dirty, because this is fresh off, well, fresh meaning a number of years, but fresh off the banks of Lake Lanier Island, Lake Lanier. There's such thing as Lake Lanier Islands, but Lake Lanier. When Lake Lanier was historically down about 20 feet, this is the Moonstone deposit you've heard me talk about. The light was glinting off the shoreline. I had a canoe at the time. I was about a mile away, and I just made a beeline, keeping my canoe on that reflected light on the shoreline. Knowing the water was down that far, I knew it had to be coming from lower in the water on the shoreline. So it was easy. I just headed for X marking the spot, because the glint off the huge Moonstone deposit might as well been an X marking the spot. It was a stunning Moonstone deposit, still is, except now it's still 20 feet underneath the water of Lake Lanier. As the lake has come up, the Moonstone deposit has gone back to what is Jones's locker, Davy Jones's locker, or whatever it's called, and under the sea. Look at this material. This is Georgia Moonstone, and Moonstone will, if you hit it, it will quickly and easily cleave or break away and fracture away. And look at this. Some of this material is just really gemmy. Really gemmy. This is 1 pound plus of Georgia Moonstone that would be great for tumbling. And I was showing Dave these formations, and that's how you can tell that it's Moonstone, for one thing, is the shape of the crystal like that. And of course, when you get the anhydroscepter, that reflection that it's so well known for. Well, here's more. Let's see. We have a total in here of 1 pound. So if we can change the grams to 1 pound. 1 pound of Georgia Moonstone, Lake Lanier, and you can have this for your tumbler. Look at all that additional material. Put it in your tumbler. And this is mined by Shawn, and you can have it all for only, this is kind of crazy because I just should keep it for this amount of money, $18. Only $18. And you know, Moonstone you can find in your local gravels that are often laid down, at least down here in Georgia, because of the quarries coming from around here. Look at that piece. Look at that. I mean, that is some nice quality material. And it didn't have to just come from that one deposit. I have found Moonstone, look at that, from many. Did not high grade this batch for sure. So you could, in the world of stone cutting, you could cut a couple stones out of this and easily get the $18 back. Look at that. I mean, that's great looking stuff. So take advantage of it. Okay, now let me show you. I have something rare. And this is something maybe you haven't even heard of, but you can certainly add a new mineral to your collection. Item number 1042621. 1042621. And let's see how many of you have this in your collection. How many of you have analcime? Look at this, and it is an old estate piece, and this is where I always say, yeah, minerals can be estate pieces, because that's how I have gotten a lot of them, is just handed down. Oh, I want to show you that there was a bag here marked Moonstone that had been actually cherry picked by Raven. I'm including that as well in the bag. So there's some better material in there, just to let you know what that's about. Okay, this, wow, look at this. Now this, I'm not even sure, old label. It is from the Price, this is cool, I love it, Price Peak, Oregon. Price Peak, Oregon. And in researching it, it is a real unusual locality. Now as we come in close, the thing about analcime is that it is named that way for the Greek word that means without force. A Greek word that is analkimos. If sorry about that, Miss Penny, who is Greek, as we know, and it means weak or without force, because there's a weak electrical charge. Now we know things like quartz and tourmaline have stronger electrical charges. Well, this has a weak electrical charge, and that's how it got its name. Look at the crystal form. A lot of these look very dodecahedron type of crystals, and the locality where this is from is a really hard to find and get anything from that locality. This is a sodium aluminum silicate, so not comprised of anything too exotic, but it is certainly something that you may not have in your collection. Indeed. Price $58. Only $58 on that guy, with the estate box that I had gotten it in. And wow, okay, there's so much for me to get to. I better get going, and I better show you some of the little items that are a little bit more special. And this next one is one of the finest I actually have on here, and if we could put it in the description, because it is truly museum quality. This is item 1042421. 1042421. You're getting ready to see something on a level that you have not seen. This is a treasure. Look at this. Look at this. That is a perfect item for this time of year. Here is your Christmas tree to the rock community. Look at this. Let's go in close. Let's go in close. This is stunning. For one thing, Pargasite crystals, anything over an inch is rare. Look at the size and the quality of this Pargasite. Pargasite, a rare silicate. Now, if you don't see them, what is tucked in there? We're going to backlight those and show you. You have spinels all over this inside the Pargasite. But then you have these exterior. Look at that. That is a spinel crystal. Look at the quality. Let's go right in on this one. Look at that. You are looking at two very strong, aesthetically beautiful colors. Look at the crystals and the quality of the Pargasite. That is why this piece is easily a museum quality level piece. Let's show you what it looks like in the dark and bring out some of those other stones that are hidden. There we go. Now we can see them. Look at those. Those are spinel crystals that were enveloped by the Pargasite. Look at that color. I mean, what is that? A cross between peridot, hiddenite, and emerald. Let's keep looking at this. And then it's all on marble. It's all on marble. And let's go back in and wow. Let's look through the marble now. Look at that. You can see the spinel crystals back inside the marble even. Look at how it just lights the... Oh, there's others. That is candy. That is candy. To people like you and I, wow. Is there a better Christmas tree light than that? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. And speaking of Christmas tree lights, don't let me forget, Miss Gabby has sent me a picture of her Christmas tree with the ornaments on it that Summer has done. I want to make sure I show everybody that, because it can show you exactly what can be done with a little imagination and getting items here from Gem Shopping to assist you in the decoration of your tree. Those colors are phenomenal. Phenomenal. Let me just see something. If this was lit, that has just such a large Pargasite. There we go. That kind of comes up underneath. Wow. It is just a lot of fun to explore this piece. Thank you, sir. Now, let's look at it. What we were looking at. Look at that. So, I have to admit, I did a little research to see if there was anything available in the market that was anywhere close to this quality. I saw this is from Vietnam, remember, from Look Yen, the known deposit that produces this material, and there was only pieces with little Pargasites and little bit of spinel, and they wanted a lot of money for those. There was nothing that came even close to the quality of a piece like this. Price on this, I have discounted it because of the generosity of my son, the generosity of his mother, and it's one of those things, pass it forward. Pass it forward. I've talked to you before about how you've helped me out in these times just by supporting the show, and I want to give back and not take. So I am passing forward a pricing opportunity on this piece of only $468. $468. Pargasite got its name from one of its first original discoveries, which was in Pargas, Finland. So an easy, good name. Easy name. Pargas, Finland, Pargasite. Works for me. But Pargasite is a wonderful rare material that in a form like this with the spinels, extremely rare. Extremely rare. And the size of the Pargasite is what makes this simply exceptional for value. All right, let me have one moment so I can make sure I take good care of that and put it away. We'll be right back. Sugilite, don't need to tell you much about that. Kenichi Sugi, hard G, 1945, Japan, where it was first discovered, but it was very unattractive. It was had none of the purple color that you know of it today. The Wessels mine in the manganese belt of the Kalahari in South Africa. That's where the good stuff comes from. And that's where this is from. The Wessels mine, South Africa, beautiful collector gem here. And I decided to part with one of the sugilites I have because guess what? I'll drill this for you at no additional charge. Look at this, a nice thin piece. Drilled is all you need to do, and you can wear it as a pendant or easily create something for it. There's probably the front would be the best right there. The black is almost always associated with it. you have the manganese ores, pyrolusite and whatnot, that get involved. This nice specimen, especially if you don't have one, displays well either as a specimen polished on both sides or easily made into a piece of jewelry. Price on that guy, guess what? $38. Kid you not. $38. You've wanted Sugilite. I haven't offered you any. Now I'm offering you one well below value. Next, item 104, 1021. 104, 1021. If I told you how long ago this goes back, this goes back actually a long time in as kind of a family piece, but I am parting with it. It actually came back from, yes, I had given this to my son's mom, Lori. I might as well call her by her name. She deserves it, Lori, and she never had done anything with it. Let me put it in a stand, because something like this, if you don't make it up as a piece of jewelry, then put it in a stand, something simple. You don't get this one, but something attractive, because it's an object of art and it just needs to be displayed out somewhere for the beauty that it is. This is natural color, unheated Indian carnelian. Most good carnelian comes from India, so don't hold that against it. And you can see it is just simply stunning. Here's the other thing. Carnelian carvings, when you see most of them, guess what? They don't have the open holes. They're just surface carved. And they don't have the delicacy or the thinness. And as we come in close on this, you can see that this is a well-polished piece. It is a floral design. I was looking to see if there was any hidden little bats or animals that would add another angle to it, but it does have this flower, and those of you that knows flowers should probably know what that is. It looks like an Easter lily maybe, but of course I could be guessing. So beautiful, beautiful work nevertheless. And the price on this in modern times now, a real carving on this and not an automated machine carved. This is hand carved. Modern carving now, of course, so much of it can be done by a machine. I don't even like saying it, but it is. But something like this, as old as this is, not a chance. Price on this, only $88. $88. A beautifully done piece that I know of its age going back, let's see, 50 years. So it's got some age to it. Item 1042821. 1042821. All right. Now, speaking of, we haven't heard from Miss Ursula in a while. I hope that everything's okay, and maybe she's just visiting with relatives. But Miss Ursula, let's hear from you. Let's make sure you're okay. Anyway, I was thinking of you when I see anything from Germany. And so this piece caused me to think of you. It is, if I say it's a lead chloride phosphate, what would I be telling you? Wow, look at that. Look at the two colors of nature. Look at that. Contrasting colors. Amazing. Look at that. Yep, pyromorphite. Pyromorphite. And this is from a mine, the Hoffnung mine, that closed not last year, not 10 years ago, but in 1880. So this specimen has been around in collection since 1880. I think that kind of stuff is amazing and so cool. Look at this. Look at this. Now, pyromorphite, stunning colors, beautiful colors. And it is a piece that if you can look up the Hoffnung mine and see what it is. there's like hardly any traces left to a mine that at one time was extensive and was mined for a long time. This is a rare crystal. Let me see, Dave, see if you can take us just in on this for a moment, because what I want to show you, yeah, here we go, perfect. Look at that. Look at the little hexagonal shape to these crystals. And this is what makes it so much fun, is when you have magnification. Look at, there we go. There's a side angle right there. And you begin exploring it. Something like this, an hour or 2 hours easily. Look at that. Great work there, Dave. Wow. Covering that depth of field. Look at those little hexagon crystals. And it makes all the difference in the world to see it with some magnification versus just a green blob. Now look at, see the gray material? There's another mineral there that you can probably figure out what it is. Another metallic ore. Speaking of, George, where's George been? George, I always think of ores because he doesn't like to collect anything that's an ore mineral, he calls them. You know, like galena or, look at, wow, look at all those little hexagons. Okay, so like that, not quite so cool, but beautiful altogether. Beautiful altogether. What a color blast. Price on this guy, only $58. Only $58. And you're getting a there's a lot of pyromorphites coming out of China, which is fine. But to get something that's coming from a mine that is long since been closed, I don't know, to me that adds an additional special meaning and value to it for that reason. Item 1042921. 1042921. Guys, there's a lot I gotta get to, so let me keep moving here. Look what we have here. Now, you're gonna get it in the this case, and then what you're getting is 2 crystals. Look at these. I love them because this is a beautiful bicolor. Now, clear tourmaline is called acrowite, and in its purest form, that's the color that tourmaline is clear. It's only when you have additional impurities is when you get your, there we go, other colors that come in. Oh, you know what? I thought that was clear. That's actually against the white now. That has a little bit of a, little bit of a green tint there that I did not notice before. And then look at this Jimmy crystal. Look at this. Oh yeah, there we go. Look right at that termination there, and then you have a little clear additional crystal growth there. Beautiful, beautiful iris coming out there. These would be wonderful to make into drop pendants or just have them in your collection, because both of them in the world of tourmaline, this is a deal. Only $48. And if you price, haven't priced tourmaline crystals lately, yeah, that's a deal. $48 on that. Great stuff. Beautiful stuff. I've had those Russian tourmalines, remember, before. Still have a few. If anyone is interested, you can always just email and request it. Makes it easy now. Shawn at gemshopping.com, and you're there. All right, now, as I try to keep up with my mess without the raven, it makes it somewhat difficult. But now I'm going to give you something to gaze at for a moment while I clean up. And to gaze, I am getting ready to show you something you have not seen in a while. Because the last time you would have seen material like this, it probably would have been me showcasing it to you. Item number, wow, 1042521, 1042521. You know what? The little stinker, I saw Raven had put this up. Raven had tucked this away and put this up. Look at this. Look at this. I am not kidding you. It is exactly what you see it is. This is the rarest, the finest, the best color you could hope for in an ammonite. And I'm not talking about ammonite, the fossil. Ammonite, the gemstone. Not made a gemstone until the 1980s. You are looking at the rarest and finest of the colors, which is blue and violet and any shades in between. And with the green, that's what you would expect to see when you have the blue and violet. Now, some people would call this lizard skin or dinosaur skin when you get those little patterns. These are a little big for that. This is a little bit more prominent. So a lot of people will call it lizard skin. I'm going to refrain from that only because I think it's actually a more impressive piece than lizard skin. Lizard skin are going to be smaller little patchwork. You have the bigger areas. Okay, let's talk about this a moment, and I'm going to tell you a story as to why, in this case, the blue and violet is the money colors. The blue and violet are the money colors. In opal, remember, the rare color and valuable color is red. In the world of ammonite, it is not red. The rare and valuable colors are the blue and violet. And let me now tell you why. Wow, look at this at a different angle. That's even a more impressive. Actually, the best impressive light creates a reflection. So I'm just trying to keep the reflection off of it while you can appreciate some. Look at that. Look at that. That is some of the strongest blues and violets I have seen in an ammonite piece, period. And this, remember, I'm thinking now this goes back when I would have gotten this at least a dozen years ago. Okay, now, these were all formed in the Bear Paw Formation of Canada. And there was an inland sea going up that far at one time. And this is about 70 million years ago. Now, this is not the Madagascan ammonite. The only true ammonite in the world is the Canadian material. Now, yes, technically you could take some of the Madagascan pieces of the shell off the ammonite and have pieces that are ammonite and would fit that the category. But in the world of gemstones, when you want to consider really the real ammonite, it is truly the Canadian deposits. Now, the Canadian deposits are underneath anywhere from 30 to 50 feet of soil now is where the productive area is that they're mining this material. All right, the surface, the shell of the fossil over time, this is why it becomes a fossil. It doesn't deteriorate. The calcite or calcareous shell of the fossil itself goes through a transformation process that turns it into aragonite. Aragonite, you're familiar with aragonite. We've had aragonite specimens all along. Now, it is that process that creates the aragonite in multi-layers, and it is when light hits those layers that it diffracts through those different layers and reflects back out at particular colors. Now, The thicker the layer of the aragonite produces, the thicker layers produce the colors red, yellow, and orange. The thinner layers is when you get your blues, your greens, and your violets. So now, follow what I'm saying, because this makes complete sense and is understandable. When you have this deposit under tons of pressure and earth above it, the chances of the thin material, and let's look at it from the side, the chances of this thin little layer not getting crushed into oblivion is very rare. Is very rare. But if this is a thicker layer of aragonite that is producing your oranges and reds, of course it stands a much better chance for it to survive the pressures from above. That's why you see orange, reds, and yellows much more common. It's because of the strength of the thicker layers surviving that pressure. It is when that layer becomes really thin is when you get your blues and violets and greens, but it also gets destroyed under the pressure, and the layers just don't materialize, get pressured off, flaked off, and completely destroyed altogether, where they only come out in crumbs. Not like that. This is one of the finest pieces. Now, on all of them, they'll put a lacquer type of like a hardener on top of it. And that's what you see here. They don't polish them unless they do triplets and things like that. And triplets in the material really reduces the value. Doublets is when they back it. This is a solid piece, and this is the money label right there. That is what you want to see. You want to see the Made in Canada label right on it. I can't even peel it off. I don't know if somebody tried to do it. It certainly wasn't going to be me, because that is like made in Brazil on the bottom of a quartz. You want that there. Except more so, you want that on your ammonite specimen. Don't ever remove it. You can see how thin that is, and now you can understand why, with all that weight and pressure on it, how it could easily crush and destroy the colors that produce the rarity in the blues, in the violets, and the greens, whereas the oranges and reds that you see all the time, it's a lot thicker. It's a lot thicker, but that's why they survive, and that's why the blues and violets are worth so much more money. This piece, tucked away by the Raven, she doesn't know I have it, but it's something I'd have to offer anyway. I have it at one of the best opportunities in a high-grade piece you'll ever see, and this piece is old. It goes quite a ways back. Price on this guy, it's 175 carats. You don't always go by carats because there could be a lot of weight on the back, but that is about the right thickness for the size piece that it is. So really, carat weight is kind of important. It does play somewhat of a role. Price on this, I have an outstanding opportunity. If you want in, it's big. I'll drill it for you if you want. But this is really right up there with a kind of a museum quality. Just a real high quality. $288. $288. It is something that just you won't find. You won't find. display it beautifully. It's huge, it's large, and it commands a lot more money than that, I can assure you. Take advantage of it. I don't have anything else like it. Item number 104, 2021. 104, 2021. Now this was fun. I had gotten this when I was going to do a project with it, but of course a lot of those projects I'm not going to get to. How about this? It's not a lot of money, but it's cool. Look at that. They call it a bullet cab, and you can see why. This is true Indian sunstone. Now, when we talk about sunstone, you think about Oregon sunstone. That's to me the real deal, the Oregon sunstone, because that is sunstone created, or the reflections created by copper. Well, a lot of people not getting it explained correctly misinterpret this material and really get sold a bill of goods that isn't the right bill of goods. Those reflections in that, hematite reflections. Big difference between that and copper. Price on that piece, it's an excellent value, 28 bucks. But if it was an Oregon sunstone, for one thing, it would look different and be a whole lot more than that. But only $28 on that jewel. And a jewel it is indeed. Now, this was in one of my areas of one of my best areas that I keep for some of my finest items in the collection. Take a look at that. Take a look at that. That says it all in the world of sphene. I mean, we've shown you Pakistani sphene, which are crystals which are stunning and of amazing colors, but always have that yellow. That is a green sphene. And now, sphene, remember, the word itself is derived from the Greek word sphenos, which means wedge. And you can see the wedge shape in this crystal perfectly and why it is named that. So, if I spoke Greek, the name would be very appropriate. Now, the name that seems to be more commonly used year after year is titanite. For this material. And sphene was discovered in 1787, but the fact that it had titanium in it wasn't discovered for a number of years after that. This is, I actually even know the mine. It's from the Ankarafa mine in Madagascar. And this crystal is one of the finest. The Pakistani sphenes, you'll get sometimes chlorite inclusions. You get the beautiful alpine cleft formations in them. But even with the Madagascan sphenes, you can get surface inclusions and other inclusions that impede what I'm getting ready to show you. Let me show you the color. Let me just show you the richness to this color. Look at that. I mean, there is, wow. I mean, that is a wow indeed. Thank you, sir. And it wouldn't be anything I would recommend cutting, even though there could be cuttable material in there. The crystal shape to this is what you really, really want. It is phenomenal. Phenomenal and huge. The color is huge. Look at that. I mean, that is just one amazing specimen. Does anybody remember? It was maybe 4 inches by 3 inches. My mind tends to make things bigger, but I don't think that so in this case. Maybe it was bigger than that. It was, I don't know, in the thousands of carats. It was a sphene crystal. A sphene crystal. If one of you had gotten it, like Miss Gabby or whatever, let me know. I'm just kind of curious about that stunning crystal we had so many years ago. But those are some of the things along the way I have gotten and been fortunate. Sphene, it's a calcium titanium silicate. Discovered 1787. Price on this one is a value that you have to take advantage of, because I have priced it as such. Go somewhere that might have something like that, and you will be floored at what they would be asking compared to the $138 is all I'm asking for that. Only $138. That's a take your breath away specimen. Item number 1040221. And then I'll take a moment break to clean up some of my mess here. All right, what I'm getting ready to show you is an Australian stone. And let's take a look at that. Look at this. Now, beautiful. Some of these had 12-legged stars. But the other cool thing about them was, in a lot of cases, they have a green tint because of the party colors. Let me see if I can show you any of that without, there we go, overpowering the light. There we go. You can see, there we go. You can see the greenish tint to the material itself. And then the star to it also, you can see the green tint there. Thank you, sir. Really pretty. Actually, it's kind of different looks and different light. Price on it? Can't go wrong. It's actually calibrated to 6 by 4.2 millimeter, $18. Only $18. Wonderful shape, great star. All right, we're gonna take a break. Let me put all these goodies up. We'll be back in a minute. I know this is an unusual way to start a shot, but this is one of the most stunning pieces I'm going to be showing you today. Not so much by way of money, but by way of cool factor. Okay. This is what we call an Anhydroscepter Quartz. If you look in the top, very top of the crystal, right there where my finger's pointing, right before it goes into the wider part of the scepter, there is a bubble. It is traveling in an air pocket in a water bubble, and you're going to watch that bubble move back and forth. So catch your eye on the top left-hand screen, and as I tilt it back this way, did you see it move? As I keep moving it, it's at the very top edge of that crystal. And it is a very active bubble. You can see it. This is 10 magnification, and it is easily travels in its little world back and forth. And anhydros form from the original, look at that bubble. I hope all of you can see it going back and forth, because you can replay your TV until you do. It is going back and forth every time, and it is just on the very top edge, right underneath my finger, is the channel that you see it traveling in. Now I'm just going to do this for another moment or two so that you are sure to be able to see how active. Some bubbles you have to shake and move. There's just not enough room for them to move around. This one, not the case. All right, that's bubble number one. Let me show you what we're looking at. This is called a scepter. A scepter is a type of crystal formation where you have a narrow base and an enlarged crystal on the end of that. Now, there is some important things in the world of scepters for them to be called a scepter. Let me explain, because there are scepters being sold in the market that aren't truly scepters by way of the accepted definition. Now, for one thing, they first must grow parallel to the base crystal. All right, so you see this crystal is growing parallel to this base crystal. What I mean by that is if this is growing in this direction, you can't have a crystal angled off growing in another angle. It needs to be growing in the same direction. Now it can be off to the side of it, but as long as it's growing parallel to the original crystal, that's number one that it needs to be. Another necessary factor is it has to be in its basic crystal form and no accessory faces. In other words, it can't have additional, unusual, and what they call different habits than what, see that 6 sides? It can't have other unusual formations to the crystal other than its basic form. That passes test number 2. Number 3, the striations on the base are acceptable, but they won't be on the scepter. Now, if we go in and look on the base here, Dave, the base crystal, you're going to have the striations like quartz normally will, and they'll be going, let me see if I can catch lights. There we go. See how they're going across the crystal this way? Not lengthwise with it, but across the crystal. That is common quartz striations. Now, the unusual thing about a scepter is, look up here. There will not be any of those striations. Look. Look at that. No striations. That's really rare for a quartz crystal, but that is what is the acceptable norm for it to be a genuine, truly scepter, true scepter. Another point needs to be the base can be tapered. This one really doesn't taper that much, but sometimes they do. That's acceptable, but the upper crystal cannot be tapered. And look at that. That is as straight on each side as is possible. And then skeletal formations can form on the scepter, which is this portion, skeletal formations, but not on the base. And let's look at this, and I'll show you the skeletal formations that we're talking about, that this actually has to show you. Let me get the light glinting off of them. There's one right there. Skeletal formation is where, see, right there. A crystal will grow at different rates of speed and create that. All right. This hits 4 out of 4 of the requirements for it to be a true scepter. That's rare. A lot of people, I looked on the internet, people calling things scepters that don't fit any of the 4 requirements. This one fits them all. Now, I'm going to try something. You saw the one bubble. Let's go in, Dave, if we could, and I'm just going to spend a moment here and see if I can, for one thing, you see that crystal right there? That white crystal, I thought it was calcite. It's not. That's an interior crystal of Moonstone, of feldspar, I believe. Now let me show you. So if I go here, 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 and it is through right here. If there is another anhydro bubble that we may not be able to show you, but there is a channel that it runs in right through there, and it's easy to see when you're not trying to look for it. No, it's actually another bubble. This is a 2-bubble anhydro, and with magnification, which I could try to show it to you and spend time, but there's other things I want to show you. But trust me, there is another very identifiable bubble that moves in this. You see those 2 areas right there. Are we in all the way, Dave? Yes. Okay. it travels in one of those two channels. I'm not sure which one, but without a doubt, you'll be able to find it. I just want to see out of curiosity, since I never get to play. I wish I had one of these cameras at home. And it travels, oh, there we go, in one of those two channels. And the easiest way to spot it is when the bubble moves. But you can see where the channels are to give you, oh, I see the bubble. I see the bubble. But I'm just playing right now. I need to do other things. Okay, so this is such a cool piece. You saw the bubble in the stalk. This is one of the finest scepters I have ever seen, matching all the conditions that is really not required, but that is acceptable for to have the best and the well, really to have the best quality scepter you could want if it meets all those conditions. Look at that. Look at that clarity. Look at that piece. This is stunning. This is from Brandberg, Namibia. Price on this, I have it in as an exceptional value, only $128. Only $128. I kid you not. That is an exceptional value. And to meet all those requirements as well. That's a gorgeous piece that I'm not real thrilled about turning up, you know, but I've enjoyed it. What a pendant it would make. What a wire wrap piece it'll make. We're going to get Andrew doing some of my getting wire wrapping done as soon as the holidays get through. So, you know, if you need that or want that made into something, we can do it. Okay, let me keep going. Lots to do. 104-1621. 104-1621. My goodness, the clock is ticking away. I have this next piece is, well, it will speak for itself. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Ocean Jasper Cube. When have you seen one of those? You're saying, Shawn, are you ever going to stop your collection? You needed to sell some of it. It is expansive. Yes, I told you it was. It is a huge collection that I love every single item I've ever had, and I hate giving them up, but you can see I got a little to share. All right, now, look at this. This is some of the finest ocean jasper. Now, ocean jasper was originally named that for the fact that it is a tidal deposit. It could only be mined when the tide was out. This is a deposit that was found on the shores of Madagascar, and they had to bring the mining a little further in, which has changed the look of the material. If you know ocean jasper enough, the material they are mining and calling ocean jasper now, it looks different. It's similar, but it's different. This is the original old material. Let's go in close and show you what you want to see. All right, now, they also called it ocean jasper. Look at the little druzy areas, because it looked like the shoreline. Look, see what I mean? By the living organisms at the shoreline, you have the greens, the blues. Oh my goodness, that color is rich. Look at these open pockets that have druzy material. The greens in the world. Look at that. And the pinks coming over here. Oh, look at that. A cube. Could you imagine displaying something on top of this cube, something else that you would have, and you could change the sides every day and have a different look, display an aqua on that side. You know, that cube is stunning. Price on this cube is also stunning. The cubes take a lot of material to make. Think about how much is lost to make that cube. There's a lot of material that is lost and cut away to make a perfectly square cube. Price on this is only $128. $128. And, you know, as a display stand, wow, how gorgeous is that? Take for an example, let's see, on the blue side, put an aqua up there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? You could have a look at that aqua, incredible display. We're going to show that in a minute. Only $128. That is a special piece. Next, I have item number. I'm still looking at that cube. Wow. 1041321. 1041321. What you're getting ready to see next is 2 pieces of extremely beautiful and one very rare barrel. Look at that. That is Morganite. I'm still trying to use the cube because I think it's a beautiful way to display an item. Here, we'll put them up on the pink side. Look at that. Now, when I was at home, this Morganite looked more purple. Now it looks more blue. And it's going to do that. This is a stunning piece of natural color beryl that has some beautiful dichroic properties. Actually changes color. See the blue there? And see how purple? See the color change there? Blue, more violet, purple, like that. Isn't that neat? This is a really rare piece. You have some Clevelandite on that side, and then along with it also, look at this aqua crystal. This is a beryl collection. This from Gilgit, Pakistan, and all this will be in your, the information will be on your tag and in your description. So you'll get all this info when you purchase it. Now, you can see, look at the clarity in the termination in the top of that. I mean, there's a facettable stone up there. Look at those colors. That is a rich, rich, natural color aqua. Look at the iris reflecting out of that piece. Wow, that is a rich color. We'll set that right there. Then look at this one. Look at this one. And now, let's see. I have a rare color with mica and Clevelandite. Let's come in close on, there we go. David's all reads my mind. I swear that guy reads my mind. There's a mica crystal down in there. And look at the Clevelandite. Clevelandite is a type of feldspar that is bladed and is often found with the Gilgit material. And then let me see this one. Wow, beautiful. 2 excellent specimens. Price for both, $88. Only $88 for both. Now, since we're talking about beryl, I have something really special that, you're just not going to see anywhere. Now, you might see the beautiful, not might, but because I know they have my buddies and the vendors that do the shows at GSN here, many of them from Mark the Opal Hunter has had beautiful red beryl to Sonny with Zenope. He's got some beautiful, amazing material. Well, Shawn with Gem Collectors, he's got some amazing material. It's just a little bit smaller and a little bit uncut. Look at that. Look at that. If you ever wondered what red beryl looked like before in its rhyolite, let's go in close on this crystal. This is a outstanding crystal that I had in my collection. Look at the 6 sides. Beautiful hexagon. Look at the clarity. You could actually facet. Oh, got so excited. Item number on this, 1041521. 1041521. Look at this. And in rhyolite, in the Wawa Mountains of Utah, and Bixbite, named really red beryl, but because they didn't officially accept Bixbite, because Bixbyite is the other name named after, named for the same founder. Now, I was starting to try to remove and figure out what some of those others were, but didn't have time to play. If you want, you could be careful and actually remove more of this rhyolite up from around that crystal, which is what they do when they professionally prepare specimens. I just didn't have all the time. So you can actually, and all I did was use a little flathead screwdriver and extricated more of that out of there. Look at that. Look at that. If they actually knew how much I removed and how clean that stone was, they wouldn't have sold this piece of rough, because even if it would cut a 5-point red beryl, it would value far exceeding what I'm going to ask for this right now. That piece, beautiful, believe it or not, it's the only one I have left. And if you want to add something rare to your collection, here's your chance for only $48. It's one of the best formed little crystals I have had. Only $48 on that. All right. Let me take a 1 moment break, and I'll be right back. Getting ready to show you one of the rarest minerals to have come out of Pakistan of late. And that is triplite. Triplite. Now listen, triplite got its name for triplos, meaning perfect 3-directional cleavage. Well, I tell you what, I don't know what they say, because, you know, 3-directional cleavage is like a calcite crystal or something. I don't see it in this, because all the crystals of triplite that I have seen, and I have a large, an entire miner's production of 1 year of triplite, and believe me, there was nothing of any real high quality, and there was nothing that was really well formed by way of crystals. Triplite doesn't form good crystals. They're always blobby, always like this. So in the world of triplite, this is a really fine specimen. Let's go in and show you. This is one of the nicest pieces of triplite out of all the triplite that I have. Look at this face of crystals, and it is in the matrix. This is really a very attractive triplite specimen. And you can see there's other additional crystals throughout this. Now the yellow probably needs to be looked into. Could be something else. Let's see exactly what kind of color tones we have in here, and look into it by adding some light. And you can see you have triplite that ranges from the pinks to the yellows to orange color tones. Look at that. And then, you know, until you put some light on them, which I highly recommend that you do at home, you never really get to say, look at that, look at that, look at all that triplite in there. This would be one to investigate if you wanted to. Look at that, wow. No, I wouldn't saw it up at all. This is too fine of a specimen, thank you, sir, and rare to have this kind of formation. This is a real attractive formation. And there's always the possibility of there being a cuttable stone in there, or in even that larger piece. This is a really nice matrix piece, and one of the better ones. It's a magnesium fluorophosphate. A manganese fluorophosphate, quite rare, hardness 5.5. This piece, it's only $44. These came from only one small pocket in 2015. One small pocket was discovered in 2015, and that is the source for this, the triplite that I have. Now, I am starting to let go of one piece or two here and there. I have made the mistake in the past of these items that I had bought from these miners, selling them way less than the market value I've realized. And it's like, okay, well, at least all of you have gotten the benefit of that. And so this one, again, as a single piece, if you were to see that in a show like that being sold, it would not be $44. I know how much I have to find one that nice. There's not much good triplite out there. Item 1043021. 1043021. Oh my, the clock is counting down, and we didn't, yeah, well, you'll just have to wait for the next show. Look, oh, by the way, speaking of shows, before I forget, and, you know, not holding against gem shopping or anything, this is just that time of year. We won't be creating a show between Christmas and New Year's, so you won't have a show the week after New Year's, if I get that correct. Asif, let me know differently. So, you know, from that Monday to Friday, after New Year's, that week, we won't have a show. There won't be a show. So make sure you watch the How It's Done episodes, past episodes, all of the material that you will have seen in all these shows. If it hasn't sold, it's available to be sold. So don't just not watch. Watch one of the shows you haven't seen in a while and see what's available. You might be quite surprised. I'm going to show you something stunning that I again discovered in a hidden collection. Somebody's got good taste. She knows what to put up and hide from me. This next specimen, wow. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, there's Azurite and Malachite, and then there's Azurite and Malachite. This is outrageously, reflectively beautiful. Now, this is where you get your classic florets, your little floral formation of Azurite crystals. And then here is where the Malachite is trying to pseudomorph, take over. As you can see, look at this, taking over, slowly replacing the Azurite, which I think is always kind of creepy, but cool. Then look at the beautiful iron-stained quartz crystals throughout. Look at those. Yeah, and covered up even. You have, look at how attractive that is. Look at the top where it's got some more. Look at how beautiful the quartz is around it. Look at that. How can Mother Nature just simultaneously or in different stages create all this looks? Now, this is one of those, again, go in close. You're going to find, there'll be other minerals here to find. There'll be other things to discover. Look at this. Then the back, let's see, anything exciting going on here? No, this is mostly all on the front, but there's a lot of goodies going on. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Azurite crystals in their, some of them in their perfect form. Price on that, only $77. Look at that, a miniature cabinet specimen, $77. That's a really beautiful, beautiful piece. Now, there's one more item here that that I went through so much effort to be able to bring you, that I want to take the last moment that we have to show you. And this may be something as simple as a zeolite, but there's something a little cool about it that I'm getting ready to show you. And I hope you find it as amazing as I did. All right, so let's look at item number 1041121. 1041121. All right, what we have might be considered your normal zeolite, right? Stilbite and apophyllite. You've seen these before. So I was looking around, and Dave, if we'll go in close on this for a moment, I was looking around at this specimen, and this is what is so important about really looking at these pieces closely. Okay, so I was looking around. All I saw, okay, you have apophyllite, you have stilbite, you probably have pink heulandite, which I didn't write up here, often is along the base. So I'm looking along the base here, and I'm looking, and then I start seeing tucked underneath some of the crystals. Look, let me get a pointer. Dave probably already, Dave's finding the celadonite, the green selenite and the gannardite. But as we come up here, look underneath this stilbite, right in here. Look at that. What did I find? Those blades, the scolecite. So I saw some scolecites that almost didn't see. Then I spun it around this way and just keep it right down here at the baseline. And all of a sudden I come across this place right here, right there. And I look, and it's against the white, and I look, and then I catch the right angle. And I see scolecite, and right tucked in the middle of the two scolecites. Let me see if I can, there we go, turn it, there we go. The two scolecites have grown to meet in the middle what is an apophyllite crystal. An apophyllite crystal. Let me show you on my phone, because it took a long time to be able to get that focus. You can see it right there. And let me show you what it looks like close up. Let me show you. Look at that. Here's the stalk of scolecite. There's the crystal. It is suspended in the middle by the scolecites. How did nature do that? Look at that perfect mirror apophyllite. Look at that. That's stunning. That's stunning. I had to show you that. Price on this piece, I didn't add any money for it, though I should. If you get it, let me know, and I'll send you the picture of that if you don't want to create your own picture. Price on this is only $68. $68. And to do that picture, I used one of those phone microscopes. I was going to show you that, but we're going to run out of time here in just a moment, but we'll get back to that in another show. Let me get to one more item here, because this is one I have not turned loose or sold any of for a long time, and it's the last one I think I have. Item 1039721. 1039721. Look at this. Black petrified wood. This is the famous Black Utah petrified wood. Now, this has come from the second largest petrified wood deposit in the world, and it forms through permineralization, a different method of petrifying. The quartz filled the empty holes, and the voids were filled with quartz, and then you could still see the cell structure, but later additional quartz came in, replacing that cell structure, and then thus leaving no sign of it. Now, here's the other interesting thing about this wood. This is much rarer. At the time in Utah, it was a moist tropical environment. Now think about that. There's no growth rings, in case you didn't know, that are basically visible in tropical forest, because there's no difference in seasonal growth. There's no winter and summer. So if you look, if you look, so many times we see petrified wood with the growth rings, but not in this. You don't see any growth rings. It's because at the time Utah was in a tropical environment, and thus no growth rings. Now, here's the thing that's important to know. There were two types of trees that grew and petrified at the time. The conifer Arkaryoxylon, Arizoconum for Arizona, Arizonicum. Now that particular tree grew to 180 feet, but it was known to have a smooth outer trunk surface. This one does not. The rarer, much more rare petrified wood to find is the Woodworthia arizonica. And it is defined by having these striations and then something else. These 1/4 inch or so, see that right there? Indentations. These little indentations. And that is a sign, a giveaway that you have between these striations and those little areas that it is of the rarer variety of wood. That adds value to the piece. And those little indentations, here's another one, are from branches that never formed. Branches that never formed. So both are extinct, but the Caryoxylon arizonicum is a much more common one. This is the Woodworthia. The one is much more rare and desirable. And this wood is very difficult to collect. It's not like down in the petrified wood forest where there's a lot of wood on extending private lands. This is not the case. Price on this one, if you want to collect petrified wood and want something rare, the Woodworthia arizonica was half the width, 1.5 to 3 feet wide, half the height, and also it has everything you want. Let's look at this, the beetle tracks. That's another way you can tell you have the real deal. Just like we have the bark beetle now, that does the same thing. Look at the beetle tracks across the surface. Now, if you see this, this actually is a natural line. It's not been glued or attached, and you can see it quits and runs out. So it's not a defect, but just the way it is. Beautiful polish on the surface. You can see some wood borers as well. Has everything you want in a piece of wood. Price on this guy is exceptional. It's only $118. $118. It comes with what they say a desert varnish. When wood, they call it a desert varnish, will actually be brownish on the exterior at first, and when you cut into it, then you get into the blacker material. But this one has the beetle tracks, has everything that you would want, only $118. With that, I so enjoyed the show. We'll be right back with the trivia. Wow. I've got a big mess, especially without Raven here, but it is one of those messes that I am going to enjoy putting away because, you know what? Dave's over here right now. It's so cool because he's playing, and this is the way you learn. He came over, got a loop, and was looking at a moonstone he found. He was actually out looking at the ground. It was with his mom and was up around Lake Lanier. Looks down at the ground, finds a rock that looked different, and it was different. You know why? Because it had an adulorescence. It had a reflection. And so he brought it to me, and then I showed him how crudely it was, but still it had that parallelogram, slanted parallelogram. Now I could use crystallographic terms, but that's not gonna make any sense to you. Or if I say a slanted parallelogram, look to the crystal. And I said between the adulorescence and that, you got moonstone, you got feldspar. Who cares if it's or you know? There's so many of the different types of feldspar that call themselves moonstone that don't worry about what type, whether it's orthoclase or whether it's adularia or whether it's forget it, plagioclase, whatever. It was fun. He found it. Shores of Lake Lanier. How cool is that? All right. The items I showed you today, not a single one of them had you ever seen before. It was over like 25 of them or something. I cannot stress enough how special so many of these pieces are. Doesn't mean that, you know, don't buy them because I'm attached to them. I'm attached to them because of my passion and love and joy of having been able to obtain, collect, trade, estate, however way I got them over the years, I have so enjoyed them. And you can see that it's time to part with a few of them. Doesn't make it any less easier parting with them, but knowing they're going to all of you makes it easier. And at the values that I'm offering them to you, take advantage of them, please. And I guess if I was to wish for something, it would be not only for all of you to stay safe and have a wonderful new year and those kind of things, but because my son's mother, like I said, she deserves a higher term than ex-wife. My son's mom and my former wife, her generosity spilled forward from her. And it's one of those things that I so believe in passing things forward. And, if I could give the ring away like she did, I would. But her heart gave it to me so that it could benefit my life. And for that, I am deeply appreciative for her for that. And therefore, I wanted to pass on those pieces to all of you at a value that represents what she wanted for me. And that was nothing but done out of unselfish love. And I want to pass on that unselfish love and offer those items to all of you first at phenomenal opportunity. I mean, almost a carat-and-a-half center diamond, a carat-and-a-half additional in the bands, handmade by me, everything that you would get in the value. Those three for, what was it, $41.88, you'd get maybe the 3 bands and not even the center stone. Take advantage of that opportunity if you can. And if you just break it down for the parts, use it for the gold, the diamonds, remount it, get a semi-mount from Gem Shopping for the center stone, use the outside stones for another design, or one of their mounts, just one of their mounts might work. Think out of the box, come up with something clever. If you can swing it, I know if Mr. Anthony could break it down and use it all for parts, that'd be great. Other than that, it is a gorgeous wedding set. Was that not absolutely stunning? And I could also, because I made it this way, take out that center diamond, put another diamond in where that head was, so you have 3 bands that match. Now, we can always solder them together if you want. And then you have a big, almost carat-and-a-half diamond to do something else with, make a pendant with, whatever. It doesn't have to stay in that wedding set. I can, like I said, fill in that middle band, create something, the 3 equal bands. I don't know, think out of the box, because what you're getting there are, besides a lot of positive, good energy in that piece, but you're getting it at a value far less than if you were to ever put those things together independently. So anyway, lots of love in today's show. I can feel it. I can feel the energy coming back from all of you. And to me, I am very thankful to production here for being able to create this show and do it today. That's why you're going to see the show tomorrow, Tuesday, instead of Monday, was because poor Asif and the scheduling. And you're going to see it at Gem Shopping, because you're going to see behind the host an entire new backdrop. Well, we shoot on 2 sets. And so if one set is being worked on, you have another set while vendors have to change out. They have to go somewhere in the meantime, right? So that where I am now, this area has been used. So poor Asif having to juggle everything he's had to juggle with. I'm very fortunate that he created this time for me to be able to shoot this show so that you could see it tomorrow. And then on top of that, I do another show Thursday so that you actually have and get to see a show next Monday. Yeah. So that'll be your last show of the year. And then the week after, just so you're not shocked, the week after New Year's, that week there won't be one. We'll shoot one for the following week. So just let you know, we'll have there'll be a week that you won't get to see the show. But it just means I'm putting together great stuff. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Putting together great stuff, items you haven't seen. Now, there was a whole box over here as soon as the show ended. I said, oh my goodness, I didn't even get to this box. And it's got a bunch of other neat stuff. So the next show as well is going to be super exciting. And please take advantage of as much of it as possible. Again, love was present here and generosity, and I am passing that forward to all of you. Okay, let's get to the trivia questions because I'm just an old hippie, and love is what it was all about then, and generosity and communing and sharing with one another, and that's the feel I want you to have. And there needs to be more of that amongst our fellow man. Question number 1. What is the other mineral name found by Maynard Bixby besides Bixbite, which, of course, is red beryl? Now, CIBJO, the naming body organization, they took that one away from them, which they should have switched them around. But they took the name Bixbite for red beryl away because it sounded too similar to another name. I want to know what that other name is. Another name. The other name of the mineral poor guy, the really nice good one, he didn't get to be named after, but the manganese iron oxide that he found, that's the one he gets to keep the name after. So, what is the named mineral that Maynard Bixby found? What is the name of that mineral? Okay, question number 1. Question number 2. What is the name given to the direction or handedness a shell grows? Now, this word is also used in chemistry and in other situations, but the situation I used it in is what I'm asking for. Now, not the names that I gave you for whether it's left or right, which I should have asked you those too. But what is the name overall given to the direction or handedness? Left-handed or right-handed is what I mean. Of a shell? What is that name that is used for the handedness of a shell? See what I mean? It's things you got to listen for or write down that I might use. It's a good word. You need to know the word. You need to know the word. And take advantage of all these cool items. I know there's pieces there you said, wow. So yeah, I say wow when I see them again. I love it. I have so enjoyed this show. So I'm not going to see you then or get to talk to you before Christmas. It'll be after. So I wish all of you a really loving, safe, pleasant Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Those of you that can, hug each other. And we got through this year. Let's continue on, and hopefully we'll be a closer nation a year from now in every way possible. And with that said, look forward to the coming shows. You're going to like what you see. Lots of great things going on here at Gem Shopping. You want to stick around, not only for this show, the other shows as well. Great things happening. God bless all of you, and have a fantastic year ahead as well. And I can't thank and tell all of you that I love you enough. It's really that meaningful to me. Take care, and may you have a blessed holiday and rest of the year.